How are you guys? We don't need him. That's actually the really funny part. So he's kind of late, and if I tell you guys this story, you're gonna laugh, but he's finishing our slides. So I really want you guys to give him a round of applause when he comes sprinting in here with his laptop while we mic him up and all that. I can chat for a minute, but I'm glad everybody's here. This is definitely growing. We really like that. Hey, look, here he is. Everybody clap. So we've, as we've told you and the guys that came into the 10-minute briefing, we literally, and everybody that's seen us the last few years, this is, we take a lot of pride in this, and it's kind of become fun, and you guys are super weird. Go get mic'd up and I'll hook you up. No, you have no idea. You haven't seen anything yet. This year we've got some fun stuff for you, so. Don't judge us.
I couldn't find Helga.
I see, of course. You guys always take the inflatable sheep. It's weird. You gonna stand there? You good? You on? Just a second. You're late, so he has to do it in the middle of the talk. You good?
All right.
Can you talk?
Cool, yeah. You can hear me? Good, awesome. Thank you. Oh, water too.
We haven't introduced ourselves yet.
So let's get into it. So hi. Hi.
We all know who he is because he wasn't here.
I'm Neil Weiler, better known as Grifter. I have been running the network operations for Black Hat for the last 16 years and all the shows in between. So other countries. We used to do a Windows show in Seattle. We did a federal show in DC, if anybody remembers that. So all those shows. By day, I work for RSA as a threat hunter. By night, I do this, and I also run all the contests and events for DEF CON. So we're headed over there right after we step off this stage.
So I am been here 11 years, right behind Grifter, riding his coattails the whole way, and it's working out for me so far. I'm up here. Day, I'm actually a resident engineer for Palo Alto. Night as well, doing this, 801 Labs, Hackerspace, et cetera, et cetera. You guys know us at this point, I hope.
Cool. So this slide looks pretty suspect when we say he's a resident for Palo Alto and I work for RSA, but that's not how it went down. We brought them into the NOC first, and then they hired us because they were like, wow, you guys are so awesome. 1 week with you is not enough. So now that's where we work. But these are our NOC partners. They are our actual partners. They are not sponsors. No one pays anything to be part of the NOC. They are chosen by Bart, myself, and our principal architect, Steve Fink, over here. We get together and we talk about what we think is the best equipment for what we're trying to accomplish for that particular show. That architecture changes every single show, and the reason it does is because we show it to you, and then we have to adjust.
And you remember that theme we talked about, that y'all are crazy?
Yeah, so
we'll get there.
So Palo Alto is our core and firewalls. CenturyLink provides our bandwidth. So in the past, we've had 2 1 gig links, one to Sunnyvale, one to Denver. This year, we had 2 10 gig links also to Sunnyvale and Denver. You guys did not use it enough. You used approximately 20% of what you could have used. Some of you were using it, and we'll get to that. Gigamon is essentially they're our tap. We have multiple open source projects that we feed data to. We also mirror all traffic to RSA's NetWitness platform. So every packet that traverses this network is written to disk. So we don't do that to be Big Brother. We do it because we want to be able to do an investigation on the data and take a look at malware samples and things as they fly across the wire. We can grab them and we feed them into Cisco Threat Grid, where they're detonated in a sandbox or glove box where you can interact with that malware and see what it actually does. So Cisco also provides Umbrella, which if you're familiar with Umbrella, it came with the acquisition of OpenDNS by Cisco. And then Ruckus provides all the Wi-Fi and the switching. So Also because the switching, the brocade, ruckus, whatever.
Yeah, so
I don't know. And they got divorced. I don't know what happened there.
It's a weird
Ekahau is a wireless design company that has a relationship with Ruckus, and they come and make sure that we actually do the Wi-Fi right.
Nice job, Mo.
So this is us. That's the NOC crew. We took that picture 3 hours ago or 2 hours ago. We're sorry that the lights are on. We try really hard not to let you get a direct look at our faces. Yeah, so that's the crew. The crew is made up of 21 industry professionals who are our friends, or if you saw the CAs who are walking around in the yellow shirts, some of the NOC crew are graduates of the CA program. We have picked them and dragged them into the NOC with us. You also will see our partners in there. So each one of the partners, they don't just drop equipment on the doorstep and walk away. They send some of their best folks. We thought that's because they wanted help, but it's probably just because they're like, you know our names on that. We don't want to be responsible for what you do with it.
Yay! Now watch, I'm telling you, every time, watch the phones, watch.
Yeah.
So the architecture this year, I wouldn't say it's necessarily unfamiliar. Again, we changed some things, but general overview, we definitely keep to the keep it simple, stupid, the KISS mentality. And for the most part, in this case, we see no east-west traffic. So that's one of the big things that you'll see. We don't want, in most cases, anything in this show to talk to each other, because again, you guys are crazy. So basically at the top, we've got Palo Alto bringing in the circuits, ICX switching again through all of this. You'll see in the infrastructure here, we actually replace Mandalay-based switches and basically just use the wires in the wall. Some limitations there, as well as us just being control freaks and visibility, et cetera, just to be able to have our control of basically what we built and be able to protect that the way that we've done it. So as you can see, Gigamon takes those feeds in, we tap. There were some interesting architecture changes that we had to go through that Fink and I worked on basically because of the two 10 gig circuits, the 20 gig links. Basically caused some issues for us just in how we split the traffic through Gigamon, how we got it to OIP, which is the big missile command that you guys see when you come in there that everybody really likes. But basically some of those architecture changes happened because of the bandwidth that we had this year. So Gigamon feeds, again, the NetWitness platform with packets. We also send all of our logs to NetWitness, as well as all of our open source tools that we use in the NOC. From there, we go down through the core, all the way out to our distribution switches in the closets, again, that we replace and just use the wires from Mandalay Bay. That goes down into our APs, where Ruckus provides you guys the general show attendee, or the general attendee wireless, as well as our training SSIDs, et cetera, that we run during the week. Anything new that you want to point out this year that's...
No, I just saw Trevor, and so I went blank. I didn't realize he was sitting there.
Poor Trevor.
No, I think that covers it pretty well. Like I said, we make changes to it year over year because we learn lessons, one, from this show, but we also learn from the international shows as well. I think it's important to point out, like, this network is always evolving. If we decide that we want to do something or roll out a new application or hardware, we will test it at the London show. Inevitably, we'll make some changes for the Singapore show. The Singapore show is kind of our burn-in, and then we deploy it here at the US show, and it becomes part of the flagship architecture. And then we change it every year just to keep Fink busy.
It works. Good.
All right.
Now, fun stats.
So, so what we had this year, again, we had significantly more bandwidth, but what we saw was that where we had 21 million DNS queries last year, we had nearly double that this year. So people were getting on there and using it. There was definitely an uptick in activity, but nowhere near the 10 times that we were honestly expecting. We were like, whatever we give them, they will consume, you know? And so
there's more than that, so prove it to us if we need to get more. I mean,
yeah. Well, now we can't really like throw down the challenge because the network's coming down. You have, you know, 40 minutes.
Don't challenge.
So if there's something that you really wanted to download, now's the time.
And you guys want to download a lot of stuff.
So, and we're going through this stuff fast because we want to get to questions. We'll run through these slides relatively quickly, and then we're just going to open it up and let you ask any and everything that you want to ask.
That's the funnest part.
Yeah, so again, so here is just a visualization of the DNS trend over the course of the show. So you can see, you know, with very pretty waves and whatever. We see an interesting drop off when it comes to the briefings themselves. It's funny because during training is where we see a lot of activity, and then the number of concurrent users will actually drop once the show starts, and I think that's just everyone going, I'm not getting on that Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so there's some interesting stuff that Heather's told us from Ruckus before, and one of the stats that we've seen was that basically we have twice the number of attendees as some of the shows that she does as well, and basically less than half the amount of people that connect. So you guys don't like it. Training's obviously with labs in the cloud, et cetera. There's going to be plenty of connections and people doing work that way. But as far as briefings and you guys just jumping on Wi-Fi, you don't like it.
It's okay. You guys are totally safe. Trust me. So once again,
it's insane.
Here are the top domains for Black Hat this year. And you can see that one up top is Windows Update.
We tell you every year to quit doing it here.
Freaking year.
Quit doing it
Windows
here.
Update is like, we're like, man. And what's funny too about that is like, so we will start the training classes on Saturday. And I mean, we had all this bandwidth, we got all the network stood up, everything's great. For that first hour of the training classes, the network was kind of like shaky. Like we were like watching it and we're like, man, what is going on or whatever. And
it's when everybody plugs in that burner laptop because you got to be safe that you didn't pull out since last Black Hat. It has the same malware from last year. And now we get all the Windows updates pushed that were intercepted and you're just as screwed as you were before.
True.
I know. I have my burner laptop over there.
So yeah, so you can see most of the top ones are honestly just things where you guys are doing up there. They're the big contenders, you know, your Windows Update stuff, Microsoft, Apple, Google. So no surprises there. Like it's every year, it's
all your
update, just 24 hours earlier and you'd be in a lot better shape. All right, so these are our incident stats. So one of the things that we were able to add this year that we haven't had in previous years was RSA has a product they announced back at RSA conference called RSA Orchestrator, which creates incidents and essentially aggregates data from all of the other partners that we're working with into one incident so that we can look at it and say, okay, this is all the data in one place. And so obviously the incidents here, top offenders by device, there's one individual who was responsible for 7 incidents. Why is it? I got it. Gosh. But you can see there are incidents by AP or classroom. So obviously the public Wi-Fi, there are only about a dozen from the public Wi-Fi, but then we have Reef A and B.
And that's Sid. What are you doing, man?
No, that wasn't Sid. That was Andrew.
Oh yeah, that was Andrew. Sorry.
Maltego.
That makes sense.
Turba, whatever. So yeah, he's encouraging his class to so these incidents are like things that we actually care about. There's a lot of garbage, but this was stuff where we actually were like,
So this is a fun one because so one of the things that I really take pride in playing with this stuff every year and, you know, changing things and dealing with the partners and the stuff is that we get to kind of, we're nerds just as much as you guys. So we love to play with the technology and make things work and see how we can do this and see how really cool this is. But basically, and again, if you guys hear some repeats here from our 10-minute, one of the biggest things that we really like to do and that has kind of paid off with the partners is all of the cooperation and everything that we get between the partners. Basically, what you're looking at here, and one of the things that we added that we didn't put on the architecture, and I'm really disappointed in you guys, and I'm going to tell you this here in just a second. This is a dashboard. We put out honeypots, and you guys are not hackers. I'll just tell you that right now.
Are you insane? Don't poke them with a stick.
Cookie Monster. So this was a GIF, and basically what we did, and this was kind of a test to see some other things and some stuff that happened there. Basically, if anybody got in that honeypot, there was information that was run through Orchestrator. Does it work? Oh yeah. Here, I'll let you watch. So basically, Cookie Monster is just waiting, and you can see Orchestrator, some obfuscated stuff, so you don't see the playbooks and stuff, but you can see Orchestrator running, and basically whenever anybody would touch that honeypot, Cookie Monster let us know, and we didn't get to see many cookies being eaten by Cookie Monster. So I won't poke the stick, but just know that we did some things, and you guys didn't do things back. So
I really like that, so I wanted to roll a slide. Look at him go.
So again, just really quick though, piece of that and what that came from. Again, working with all the partners together and things that we've done, the way that Orchestrator can take the information. If we see an incident, the way that we worked with this, pulling artifacts from all the partners, Ruckus, Palo, RSA, we could basically send that, and in some cases we've sent users to a dynamic user group on the Palo Alto side, and then we can do some things that you'll start seeing in some communication from about, but basically to keep you safe with all this orchestration, we're doing some things of putting in, captive portal's the wrong word, but basically just an HTTP redirect page. When we see something from a device, for example, how many clear text passwords we see come across this network is a shame for our industry. I'll just say that. And it's not a joke this time. Don't laugh. It's terrible. Us as an industry need to fix this. So seeing this kind of stuff and being able to work with the different partners and send redirect pages telling you, hey, look, we saw some clear text passwords or emails. There's another one that we can do if we see beaconing and C2 traffic, so some malware stuff, as well as Monero mining, which we'll get into here in a minute, some crypto mining and things that happen that way as well. So basically, we're trying to be a little more helpful to you guys and give more information on what we're seeing on your devices, tracking people down every day and finding that just doesn't work anymore. So hopefully in the near future and some future Black Hat shows, you'll see stuff like that we can help keep you safe. So again, biggest piece of this is just all the partners working together and making this really an ebb and flow and a nice partnership with Black Hat and those partners.
Yeah, I like having it up there that long.
You don't want to.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, he's got a problem. Like, we might need an intervention. So that doesn't mean that nobody saw the honeypots that were out there. There was some activity on it, and somebody, decided to send us a message. You
guys always like to send messages.
Yeah, letting us know they found it. So, give me cookie. I want cookie. Nom 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 nom. So yeah, we like stuff like that. All right.
Oof.
Yeah.
We got to have some real conversations sometimes. So I guess I'll caveat this. We're not here to blast anybody, but sometimes again, it has to happen. In this case, huh?
I was going to.
Oh, well, we're done. That's not what we're here for, but we will if we have to. So in this case, has anybody heard of Tanium and what they do? Basically a Google for your infrastructure. And I hope you guys aren't in here, or maybe hope you are. Basically, it's pulling full information from every machine on a CMDB, pulling all the information off of a machine and sending it back home. It's doing it in clear text, guys. So I think to that point, I don't think it's a product issue. It's certainly a configuration issue. But even the ability to send that kind of stuff in clear text on the Black Hat network, and that's not necessarily one of your issues. That's an internal IT issue and some security issues that we need to address as a whole. This isn't the first time that we've seen this. We've seen other vendors do this exact same thing, but we send thank you cards to them for doing our reconnaissance for us. So
one of the things too is that it's just, you have an inherent trust in the amount of security that is on your device or whatever, and then you go out into an environment like this. We had in a training class where we saw one individual was sending everything in the clear from their laptop, went into that class and said, hey, can we talk to, I think at that point we had his name. And so, hey, can we talk to so-and-so? He comes up. You're transmitting everything from your machine in the clear. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Your password is this. Oh! what? And obviously, as we all know, as security practitioners, believing that you're secure when you're not is more dangerous than just knowing you're insecure. And so in this case, this particular attendee believed that everything on that laptop that was leaving it had been secured or was leaving encrypted, and actually, in fact, none of it was.
So the sensitive documents, there's some interesting stuff. So when the other stuff that we're seeing, and again, it's all clear text, and we're talking about encryption, et cetera, and we need to be better at that as an industry if we want to teach other people, et cetera.
So this is someone's timesheet, they're just sending out. This one.
Tokenized Dropbox links. So now not just whatever that call was, you guys can go listen to it. So that, again, you didn't necessarily send the file, but we're storing it in the cloud because that's secure. Again, all these things that we assume and the way that it's done, we need to clean some of this up. So tokenized Dropbox link probably shouldn't be sent in a clear text email. API calls, SOAP calls back home. You're configuring something. We obviously obfuscated the host and the user IDs and passwords, but again, API calls done in the clear. That means somebody's affecting infrastructure in one way or another, no matter who, wherever they are. Is that a company or even your home router? For goodness sake, I don't know if you have an API there, but again, this kind of stuff, just the fact that we assume that things are safe for one reason or another. It's an API call. Who wouldn't encrypt, or however you want to look at it? VPN and encrypt.
They're using that sweet base 64.
Base 64, man. That's totally ROT 10.
All right.
Are we there yet?
So this one, this is one of those things where you just kind of go like, well, we're just always doomed. No matter what you do, data is going to get out there. And in this particular case, what we're looking at is the fact that an email was sent securely by the initial party. So they had transmitted stuff and they did all the right things. And then somebody else forwarded said email in the clear. So it has to be, locked down from start to finish. Otherwise, what's the point? Looking at encrypted versus unencrypted email, you can see we've still got plenty of improvement to do. And then a significant number of email creds exposed. We had thought about maybe doing an automated email that would be sent to the individuals whose account credentials were going across the network, and we would say, okay, hi, this is an automated message from the Black Hat NOC. Here are your credentials. But people weren't sure. Obviously, we'd obfuscate the password.
Why?
It's not really I know. We don't need to retransmit.
We encrypted the email. We did our part.
So here's your stuff. You might want to do something about that. We kind of slow rolled out some of the, redirects and automated things saying, hey, we're seeing crypto mining coming from your machine. If that's legitimate, then cool. If not, stop by the NOC. How many people think it's a good idea for us to send automated emails to folks when we do get their account credentials on the network, just by show of hands? That's all.
Well, we're going to send them to the Black Hat distro list.
This guy over here wants to start a distro. He's
give them to all you guys. Don't worry. Catch you one way or the other.
So again, this is 2018. I feel like you almost have to try to make email insecure, and yet here we are. So we've mentioned a couple times crypto mining. We do see different miners going on, and we don't know whether or not that's just somebody who's like, this is how my company machines resources are best spent, or if they've come already infected. And so again, just a notification to folks we see mining traffic coming from, saying, we're seeing this. If this is unintentional, come see us and we'll tell you what we saw.
And a quick asterisk on this stuff. This is something that, again, we like to give you guys actionable data if that's the case. This has seen such a huge rise in the past year that this is something to watch for. Corporate machines that have gotten hit, instead of ransomware, they can continue to make money off of you and just put crypto mining software. So watch for this stuff. Watch for crypto mining coming out of your networks and off of your machines, because I assume that your work laptop shouldn't normally be mining Monero. Are we there? Oh my gosh, if you hit next and it's,
It's time. So,
you guys are weird. So first of all, hang on.
All right, wait, oh, that's right. Let's introduce.
We have awards.
We have awards.
You guys are weird, so are we. We can play this game.
So we see a lot of porn on this network. I mean, we're not watching it. Like, we're watching the traffic.
Remember, we wipe all the discs at the end of the day. It's gone.
It's not just the discs that are getting wiped, people. So we ended up tracking essentially, like what were the most popular sites.
We come here.
We're curious. What does the average InfoSec professional get their porn from? What are favorites?
These must be secure sites, at least.
Clearly.
You guys are weird.
So, again, we have some awards, and that's because we saw something like this. Oh, the GIF's not working. Right? Right?
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah. Bravo. Bravo. Whoever you are out there.
Not done. Hang on.
Yes.
We all have to take a deep breath because this is the best part. Go ahead.
Wow.
So
there's two things here. One, again, wow. But two, whoever you are, send me that link because that must be amazing.
So this is a really good story, and I couldn't stop laughing when we did this, and the fact that there's actually, this should be like Silicon Valley style stuff. So I'm going to tell you what MTTO stands for.
You got it? You guys are there?
It's the mean time to
orgasm.
You guys are weird.
Yeah. So
but keep it up because we like it.
So we have some
awards,
some prizes for whoever.
Come claim it. Come like that.
Where's our longest porn streaming session? If you could just come up and get your prize.
We have your MAC address. You have to have proof.
We've got. Are you not in here?
The shortest prize,
That's
though.
Weird.
You can come up next.
All right.
Well, so totally, we're trying to have fun. You guys definitely keep it weird. So do we. So there'll be some better prizes, I'm sure, next year. And I'm assuming we'll see some really weird stuff. Are we done? I know. Yeah, we can't. There's nothing else after that.
We timed this specifically so we could hit Q&A. We do about a half an hour of yammering, and then we just take questions from you guys. So as in past years, ask away, and we're happy to share whatever we can.
We've got mics because this is a huge room this year, and there's always people that leave. Why don't you want to ask questions? Anybody
Fine,
else?
go.
Come get your award.
What is this?
What was that?
He said, "What's this thing on the stage with the antennas?" So one thing that we always see around Black Hat, obviously, is like rogue APs or different wireless devices, and people think they're clever and all that. And
so we called one of our friends.
Yeah, so we brought one of our buddies with us. He was here last year. You may have seen it walking around or whatever. But this is the Wi-Fi cactus. So hashtag Wi-Fi cactus if you're looking for it. It can be plugged in, but it is also mobile. So it's on a backpack. He wears it around and it lights up. And it is 25 Wi-Fi Pineapple Tetras listening to 50 channels simultaneously. And I mean, there's something wrong with him. We know that.
Tell me, hey, how many unique devices again? Over 50,000 unique devices. And what was the others? How many gigs? over 350 gigs of it's passively collecting over 16 hours.
That's like 10 times bigger than last year.
Good job, guys. It's 10 times bigger than last year. It's like the bandwidth, and you see what you guys do at 10 times more, so it's kind of weird. Who else?
I was wondering if you're doing any automated handling of incidents.
Say again. I'm sorry.
If you were doing any automated handling of incidents.
Automated
automation.
handling of incidents. So it's where we would like to get with things like, again, with the crypto mining stuff, or where we're seeing specifically beaconing coming from a machine that we can identify as, actual malware, as well as things like the clear text. But with this network, it's a little bit difficult because what we're essentially doing is looking for the traffic that is actual bad traffic. We can't block things because they look malicious, because that could be somebody's demo or a lab that they're doing. And so when you have something like the Kali Linux dojo going on the entire length of the briefings, you can imagine that there are some attacks going across that network. And so automation is difficult. We can do some simple stuff, but
Automation's good, and that's some of the stuff that we're obviously trying to get to with some other pieces. But I think that the important piece you'd stay there is define incident, because again, an incident here would be completely different to an incident in a corporate environment. So to that extent, yes, but there's not much to do because we don't consider many things incidents, because everything flies, including 2-hour streams. Again, I just can't. So we won't stop anything in that sense. We won't block anything. So there's no automation to stop, C2 traffic or anything like that. So to that point, yes, we do automation, but not for, again, defining incident would be the difference there between our environment and normal corporate environment.
Anybody? What you got? Cool.
Any idea on the ratio between HTTP and HTTPS traffic?
So stats as far as the amount of encrypted versus unencrypted traffic on the network. So we saw about 65% of the traffic was encrypted. So whether that was through HTTPS or people using VPNs or whatever, overall, yeah, 65%.
Okay. Any plans in the future, Black Hat, to inject JavaScript on plain text
Hell no.
HTTP?
And so a question was inject JavaScript. You have a mic. Why do I don't repeat now? That's great. So a lot of the things that we do, and the extent asking you if we would send emails, we're you guys. We're this is what we do as well, and we're the same people, just on this side of the fence. So we keep all of that information in mind as well, as far as privacy and injecting things. We've talked about 802.1x to keep people secure, and I can tell you everybody wants us to do it, every partner that we talk to. But I couldn't imagine if I walked into DEF CON and they tried to push a cert to my device. I'd throw it out the window. So I assume that you guys would do the same, and it's not something that we're willing to do for your sake, because of what we would do the same thing. So.
And I'm just going to say, the mics are fine, but if you guys, there's a lot of you packed in. So if you want to just yell, just make sure we can hear it, you can yell. That's fine. Sit down.
No.
What's up, man?
So I would be curious to see stats on how much traffic the highest users actually used.
Well, you have to come collect his prize.
I mean, presumably that is a lot of traffic right there, but
So there's some interesting stuff that we could look at that, but I think it's a little skewed in some sense, because if it's VPN, we've seen people that are VPN home and download stuff. We've seen backups. So I think it's skewed in some ways to what that is, but it isn't interesting. And it's pretty skewed usually. Yeah, you look nervous though. If I go look that up right now. 20 gigs. Encrypted, good job. Go ahead.
You mentioned limiting east-west traffic in general, and I was wondering, did you do anything with, or I guess how did you deal with IP version 6 and link local stuff that sometimes is sneaky?
I personally would have to give Fink a mic because I despise IPv6. Fink a mic, so in that sense, we haven't done anything internally with v6. We let that everything happen on the back end, but even at that with CenturyLink, our public space is all IPv4 still. So nothing there yet. I know people like to play with that. I'm kind of it's not broken, don't fix it in this sense. There's plenty of things that you still need to fix, but no real plans yet, but that doesn't mean it won't happen.
All right, other questions?
Yeah, so you probably haven't seen this here, but on other networks, have you seen any DCO activity of adversaries to maintain availability of the crypto streams on IoT?
I can't say that I've necessarily seen that, but it's certainly something that I'd be concerned about because if they're infecting your machine and you're mining cryptocurrency, there's some infection there. You don't know whether that's, and it may not be today that there's any kind of backdoor through that infection, but that doesn't mean that can't and won't evolve eventually because if you're maintaining that connectivity, you're gonna have a lot more options, obviously, at that point. But
Yeah, I didn't necessarily mean like backdoor, but
okay,
them seeing other malware and taking it out.
say that again.
Somebody just said you're hard to understand, so come close.
Hello.
I'm talking about them seeing other malware. Of course, the crypto activities, its own malware, but them taking out other people's malware.
So are there like malware wars on the network essentially, like
Yeah,
trying to?
and does the cost of the electricity mean you could cut back on your own DCO because the bad guys are doing it for you?
I haven't seen any activity of that type though.
Anybody else? All right. Well, we'll be up here waiting for whoever wants to collect their awards, and we'll see you guys next year. Thanks so much, guys.